Hopefully, he's still got his cool intro. Okay, I don't know if we're live. I think we're live. What's happening?
We are live. There's a little live thing in the
we're
corner.
live. Hello, guys. Sorry, everyone. As you can tell, this is my first time doing all the technical side of things, and I'm rubbish at it. James is not here, unfortunately, this week, but he'll be back with you next week. So any problems that happen this week, they won't happen because James will be back. If you are watching on any of our platforms, please give us a like or a subscribe or whatever else you can do these days. With me, I've got Kat. Kat, how are you?
I am good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm not going to lie. Me and Kat had a little breakdown just before because we have no idea what we're doing with this technology malarkey, but it's okay. That's fine. We'll work it out and it will be all good. Isn't that right, Kat?
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So let's start off with everyone's favourite subject of the year and talk about COVID. Yay!
Yay! Celebration.
Yay, we love COVID. Right. So obviously the COVID vaccine has been rolled out. I've got the name written down, but I don't know its intense name. It's like Pfizer BioNTech.
We'll just call it the COVID vaccine. That's
COVID
just
vaccine.
easier.
Let's go with that. I think that'll be much better.
Vaccine, jab, whatever you want to call it these days.
Yeah. So they've started rolling that out to, I believe, elderly people. Really, first I've seen the news, and then they're gonna roll it out to like healthcare professionals and stuff. In fact, my wife is going to get a jab, so she's very excited about that, but also a little bit apprehensive. So I don't know if. Yeah. I mean, it's been developed very quickly. So there are a few people that are a bit concerned about what, if it's been tested correctly, etc., etc. What do you reckon, Kat, on that?
I think that because it has been rolled out pretty quickly, it's been tested really quickly. I think that it hasn't been tested long enough to know the long-term effects. So I think in that respect, you need to weigh up whether you want to. I know that you can still get COVID even if you've had the vaccine or jab, whatever you want to call it. But you need to weigh up the risks of whether you want to experience those long-term effects.
Yes, no,
or
definitely.
Get COVID, which could be potentially
not great.
Yeah.
No one wants COVID. It's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? I thought the same. I don't know if and when we get offered it. Like for me personally, I won't get offered it for a very long time because I was reading the list of who gets offered it first, and it's like over 80s, people with health conditions, people who work with, who are likely to be in contact with people that might get COVID. So people in the hospital and such. And for people, I want to say our age, but I feel like I'm a bit older than you now. So people, let's say under 30s, they're going to be waiting a while unless they've got some underlying health conditions. So I mean, I guess we've got enough time to think about it.
Yeah, I guess the more vaccines they roll out, though, the less risk you are of getting it anyway. So
definitely, yeah.
You got to weigh it up, really.
Exactly. No, definitely. I think my wife is planning to definitely get hers. I think she might actually just have to. Well, maybe she doesn't. I can't imagine you can force someone to have a vaccine.
No, I don't think you can.
No, but I think she has weighed up her options and will definitely get the vaccine. What they have said, though, is if you're planning to have a baby in the next 6 months or are currently pregnant, not to have it. So,
okay.
Yes. So, I mean, that obviously makes you wonder a little bit. Okay, so why is that? But I mean, it's good that they've mentioned that, I guess, at least.
They also did mention on a live press conference that when they were testing it on people, they did actually have people who became pregnant during the trial and have been okay, and they were monitored very, very closely, and they have been okay. But I guess again, it's weighing it up.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think obviously there's some some people that may not be able to have it. I don't know, because I know there's the Oxford one as well. I don't know. So I know there's two different ones that are the most important ones at the moment for the UK.
There are like 3, isn't there? I believe.
Oh, really? See, this is how much I know. But I know that my sister-in-law can't have one of them because she has allergies. So potentially people who have allergies can't have a certain vaccine, and I think it's all very, very complicated. You got to be proper clever to do all that, you know. I'll just be like, well, I don't know. But it's good news. It's good news for hopefully getting back to some kind of normality. When the world is back to normal, Kat, what is the first thing you're going to do?
A decent night's sleep.
Have a decent night's sleep. Yes, I think that's a good shout. I think.
I don't know. I guess just meet up with friends, really.
Yeah. It's been a weird year with that, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think especially being a uni student, like I've been around like 30 plus people at one time, and I miss it. I really do miss it, and I think it's a social aspect of things for me.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's what it's like for young people as well, especially being at school and being around friends so much. You can't do that now.
No, and I agree. It must get really frustrating for especially those who are in school, who you know, they get bubbled in their large classes, but then as soon as they're out the doors, they get told to, you know, don't even come anywhere near each other. So that must be quite confusing and a bit annoying, I can imagine. But yeah, I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to book a holiday somewhere. I love traveling, and the lack of traveling this year is not the one. But it's okay. It's okay. Probably couldn't afford it this year anyway. So it's a blessing in disguise, maybe. Cool. So going forward, then, in terms of this vaccine, if you have the choice. You obviously you said you'd have to weigh up your options. How's that looking right now? If you had to make a snap decision right now, would you get vaccinated or would you hold off a little bit, do you think?
I would get vaccinated. I think that whatever you do, it's going to be risky.
Yeah.
And I think that at the moment you need to think about the now. And don't get me wrong, thinking about the future is also important. But as time goes on, they're going to see all these side effects from the people who have had it before as well. So they're going to constantly work with the public to minimize those risks. And I think they did say they were going to monitor especially vulnerable people of the side effects and the risks that come along with having the vaccine. So I think that's also helping me like make the decision is that they're going to monitor. So.
Yeah, no, I think that's very wise of you. You seem to have thought it out very well. I think I need to reevaluate my life and actually think about these things.
You put me on the spot. I get put on the spot too many times, so.
Oh, sorry. That's just. Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at it, isn't it? And you definitely should weigh up the different options. And you know, by the time that we do get offered it, obviously, you know, everyone will have a bit more time to think about it and what they want to do. But I think, you know, the life how it's been for the last 8 months, nearly 10 months. You know, when was it? March. So yeah, it's
been almost a year. The first case was 17th of November in China.
Oh wow! Okay,
so it's been over a year since it's actually first been diagnosed.
Well, yeah. So I mean, it's not been a fun year. You know, both mentally and socially and just literally anything. That I think the only positive that I can, well, not the only, but one of the main positives I can see out of this whole pandemic is that people seem to find a love for the outdoors again. Because everyone was out once you're allowed out. You know, walking my dog, everyone was walking their dog. You could tell the people that didn't walk their dog before the pandemic because all the dogs were pretty fat and they were like, why are we on a walk again? So, but yeah, I think that's a real positive. People seem to understand the value of being social and the outdoors again. So yeah. That's pretty good. So anyway, moving on from COVID, because let's be honest, we've had enough of COVID for years to come. And we're going to move on to something else that everyone's talked about for years now, unfortunately, and that is Brexit. Now, it is looking very likely that there will be a no-deal Brexit, okay? And if James were here, he could tell you all the ins and outs of why, that sucks or doesn't suck or whatever. But I'm not going to do that because I don't have all the facts. So I'll leave that for James if he wants to speak about that. What I do want to talk about, though, being someone who is Dutch, so I am an EU national. Okay, so my passport, this is what my passport looks like. So I've had to apply for settled status. So what that means is because I don't have a British passport, I need to apply to stay in the country, which at first I was a bit annoyed about, but actually I can understand that it's to do with just as much as protecting my rights as anyone else's. So, it makes sense. But I don't know how well it's been publicised that people from EU countries need to do that. So if you are watching and you are over 18 and you are not from the UK and you're from a country in Europe, have a look on the government website and look at settled status, okay, and have a look to see whether or not you need to apply, or maybe even your parents, give them a little nudge and be like, hey, guys, maybe apply. But how many cat people do you think, how many cat people, how many people, Kat, do you think have applied for this right to remain? So how many EU nationals, including myself, have applied to stay in the UK, would you guess?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's bad that I don't know a lot about Brexit.
Do you know what? I don't know if it's bad. I don't blame you, because to be honest, it's just boring, isn't it? Just hearing that the whole time about Brexit.
Yeah,
but it is. Sorry, go on.
That was all that was being spoken about. I followed it to start off with. But then that was just it on TV, on the news. It was just Brexit, Brexit, Brexit. It's like now COVID, COVID, COVID. And it's like, I understand, raise awareness, talk about it, but don't make it the only thing spoken about, because it can become boring, I think, in a way.
100%, 100%. I agree.
Yeah. So I don't actually know a lot about it. So I'm pretty useless in this area.
Well, I can tell you that 3.3 million people have applied for the right to remain or settled status. So me included. So that's, I don't know how many people are in the UK. Like, what is it? I'm going to Google that right now. People in... So many. So actually, there's not a huge amount. Okay. So 68 million people in the UK. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
So yeah, I've had to do it, and it's really simple. I just had to do an app, and because my passport has the funky, I don't even know what this is, the little chip in it. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is put your phone on it, and it scans it all, and it checks how long you've been here, la-di-da-di-da, and you get an email saying, well done, you can stay. So
that's very tech savvy.
I know, it's kind of scary in the same way, why can my phone read my passport? But oh well, it lets me stay in the UK, so that's okay. So as a Dutch person, I was quite interested to see how many other Dutch people were in the UK, and that's 100,000 of us. Okay, I'll never meet another Dutch person in the UK, so I don't know where they're all hiding. But how many UK nationals do you think live abroad in the EU, in Europe?
I don't know. I'm afraid that if I say a number, it's either going to be way over or way under.
Like 70 million. No. So there's
no one left
so
in the UK.
this was from when Brexit first started, so it's a bit I think it's probably gone up or down. Oh, hello, Richard. Richard says, yo, yo. Hello, Richard. I hope you're all right, mate. Thank you for tuning in. So there are 1.2 million UK nationals living abroad, and most of that is nationals living in Spain. Surprise, surprise. So I don't know what this no Brexit deal means for them. I assume countries like Spain will do, well, hopefully they'll do the same kind of thing that the UK have done, and given them like a right to remain in some way or another. But who knows? Who knows? But it does. I was reading that it may be at the moment, after the 1st of January, going to get a bit more difficult for people from the UK to go into Europe for a holiday. So that kind of sucks because, let's be honest, we all love jumping on an EasyJet plane, flying an hour that way, and then getting a bit of sun.
I've been abroad once, and that was when I was young. I can't remember how old. It was so long ago.
Do you know where you went?
Tenerife. I went with my nan. That's the only. Oh no, I lie. I've been abroad with my school to Disney World.
Nice. That is wicked. That's a wicked school trip.
Yeah.
Do you know where my school took me? They took me to a hill near the train station. I was like, brilliant. We're not even out of Northampton.
My school at the last week of every year, we were allowed to choose a pack, and that pack would involve different activities, and these activities would be go to Butlins, go to here, go to theme parks or whatever, and then on the other hand was like cheerleading and things that you could do in sport and things like that. So it was like a first come first served thing, so I was very lucky in the fact that I got that space.
Yeah, Disneyland sounds awesome. I assume the one in Paris.
Yes,
that's really cool. Do you know what? I've never been to Disneyland, and I would love to go. And I know it sounds silly, but I kind of want to go before I get kids, so that I can go on all the rides and don't have to worry about the kids. But
do it. I highly recommend it. Also, go and watch the shows. It's not the same if you don't watch the shows.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. I do like a bit of Disney. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not ashamed to admit it. So what do you like traveling, or would you travel more, or do you think, especially now that it might be a bit more difficult to travel, would that put you off a little bit more? Or
I think it would put me off. I would like to go out and explore the rest of the world. What's out there and things, and I think it would also be good on an educational perspective as well.
Yeah.
But obviously, as someone who's only ever been abroad twice, all of the holidays I have are within the UK, so there isn't that drive to wanting to go abroad, like that being the first thing I think of when someone says a holiday.
Yeah.
No, I would like it, but the whole thing with Brexit and everything like that, it's just like, well, that kind of does put me off a bit.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important, even, obviously I'm Dutch myself, but I've lived through the pandemic in the UK, and I think, UK businesses have really suffered. And the summer when we were allowed to go out, we were all supporting these local businesses, or local UK businesses and UK places to go. And I think, now that we're able to travel across the world again, or hopefully soon with this vaccine rolling out, I think we shouldn't forget how beautiful the UK can be. Because some of my best holidays, I've been in a lot of countries, but some of my best holidays have been like climbing up Snowdon in Wales and surfing on a beach in Cornwall and stuff like that. So I think it is important to remember how lucky we are with the beauty in the UK. So
I agree with you there.
Yeah. So I think something, just sticking with the Brexit thing and the no deal, something I personally, again as an EU national, have been a bit worried about is the potential for not racism, but a bit of tension between EU nationals and people from the UK. I mean, I've not experienced it myself too much because I don't have an accent, but I do worry sometimes for my mum because she has a very, pronounced accent and stuff like that. So, for me, I was kind of hoping that there would be some type of deal so that, tensions might not be as much. But I mean, I guess we just have to wait and see with that.
I think it's good to educate people on that as well.
Yeah.
But, there are a lot of EU national people in the UK, and in a way, it keeps the UK running. So
yeah, no, definitely. I think everyone has their good points and their bad points. I think it's so easy to blame one group of people for one problem, but I think it's important to look into. It's the same with the stuff that goes on with young people. That some people will blame young people for all the problems. The COVID was a brilliant example of uni students going back to uni. Oh my gosh, they're all spreading COVID. But actually, who decided that uni students should go back to uni? That wasn't them that chose that. That was the government, and that was adults. So I think it's important to make sure you're always looking at stuff from different angles. So, but
I will say in Northampton, uni students' COVID rates have actually been quite low, very low compared to other universities in the UK. They've been around somewhere between 10 and 20 people per week. That does sound a lot, but other universities were getting like 50 people per week report that they were experiencing symptoms or actually been tested.
Yeah. And I think sometimes people get the idea that that's because all the uni students are going into each other's flats and partying. And I mean, that's just not the case, is it? Because I know unis have really been strict on that. And I think uni students themselves, they're clever people. They're not going to want to spread, the virus that could potentially harm their loved ones or others, So
yeah. Uni students as well, they work in the community a lot. So not only do they do things like youth work or work in a nursery or things like that, they also work in pubs where people are gonna go in, be in close contact with someone. They're gonna come in close contact with that person, therefore possibly getting the virus and then passing it on to other students. So again, that could also be where the cases might rise in university students, because they're not just at university, they're not just studying or partying or whatever the other stereotypes are. They're also working.
No, exactly. And I think uni students are, unfortunately, a lot of them will have to work still. A lot of uni students won't have the luxury of having some savings behind them, so it's okay if they're off work for a bit and stuff like that. So like you say, they're working in pubs and stuff. They need to earn that money. You can't be telling uni students, oh, actually, no, don't do that. So
finding a job as a uni student is also pretty hard. I can talk from personal experience.
Is it really?
Yeah.
See, I've never been a uni student, so I've not had that experience. So what? So it's hard to find a job, is it? Or
yeah, I guess like for me, I've always had a job in what I specialize in, kind of. So I had a job briefly as a nursery assistant, but I didn't enjoy it. So I went out and I started looking for other jobs, and I had a job here and there, but it was nothing that wanted to keep me there. I think now, obviously, working with Free2talk is amazing because it is something that I do want to go into in the future. So, and I guess as well, I don't have any retail experience. The only experience I have close to that is a paper round when I was 15. So,
oh, gotta love a paper round. Do you know what? Paper rounds are the best first jobs ever.
They are. I highly recommend getting a paper round, but also remember to be safe. Keep fit. It's a bit of money in your pocket, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it definitely keeps you fit trying to lug around the bags full of papers. Oh my word.
Yeah, I did it 7 days a week for about an hour and a half every day, and I used to help with somebody else on their paper round, so it used to always take me like 3 hours in the morning.
That is great commitment. I only did it on a Thursday for a few hours. So, wrapping up the COVID discussion, I'm going to tell you some good news, I guess it is. So, the first two people who got vaccinated, the first one was a lady called Margaret Keenan, who turns 91 next week, bless her. And she said she was, she felt really honoured to be able to do that. And the first man to get vaccinated was called William Shakespeare. How cool is that? And he was also quite elderly. Let me see what his age says. He is 81 years old. So it must be nice for the elderly to know that finally that there's a vaccine, and they can go out and see their loved ones again. Because I mean, a lot of the elderly I think get quite lonely in this period of time, and it'd be nice for them to be able to be out and about.
I think as well, it's also hard, especially for families who live on the other side of the UK. So for me, I come from Somerset, if you can't tell from my accent, but I come from Somerset, and the rest, I got my immediate family in Nottingham, and the rest of my family are down in Somerset.
Right.
So I'm not. So I'm currently in tier 3 right now, and no matter what tier we were in, we wouldn't risk going down and giving it to my family. But
No, of course.
It's not the same. We'd spend the day down in Somerset. We'd exchange presents and open them in front of each other and have a meal or whatever. And it's just not the same this year.
No, it is very different. I heard quite a sad story about a family who were quite worried whether they could spend Christmas together because their mum has like cancer. So they were like, this could be the last, Christmas we have with them. Why would we not spend that time together? And I think, I'm sure James has chatted about it in previous shows, but I think it's definitely been an interesting conversation to have. What's right and what's wrong, I guess. And can you even say what's right and what's wrong? Probably not.
So. It's different for everybody. And I think it's also, if you're in that position as well, it's important to look after yourself as well as other people. Like the whole thing with wearing a mask, it's not really to protect you, it's to protect other people, so you're not spreading it to other people. But that's also find ways for looking after yourself, whether it be something like meditation to help your mental health, or if it's like a half-hour walk a day.
Yeah, definitely.
Do something, that's going to look after yourself in any way possible.
What's your top tip then for looking after yourself during times of lockdown, or just times of when like mental health isn't fantastic?
I like in terms of like for university work, I'd say the same for school work or college work, is to keep yourself organised and to try and keep on top of things, and don't panic too much if you're falling behind, because there's always that help and support within schools, colleges, universities, workplaces, especially in these times, to help and support you through that. In terms of mental health, reach out to people. If you haven't heard from someone in a little while, reach out to them. Catch up, go for a walk. I listen to music quite a lot, it's different for everyone. You've got to find the thing that suits you. I personally take the dog out for a walk and then get complained at when I bring him back really muddy.
Brilliant. Do you know what? I agree. That's my top tip. I mean, I love the outdoors, and taking my dog out, if I've had a really like rubbish day, just makes everything better, because it's just, you have to find what works for you. But for me, nature is just I sound like a right hippie, but that's the way forward for me.
I like outside. I like doing forest school and things like that. It was a first for me, and I enjoyed it.
Yes. Well, hopefully we can do many more of those, because in the New Year's we are planning to roll that out a lot more, and I'll talk about that a little bit later with you when we talk about what else is going to go on next week, final week before we kind of shut for Christmas, I guess. Well, I think final week in terms of sessions. So
final week for sessions, I believe, is next week, and then there's 2 weeks.
Lovely. Not for me. I'm having holiday. So last thing, well, not the last thing. One other thing I wanted to chat about is the and I don't know if James has talked about this, but is it 5 days over Christmas you're allowed to go see other people?
I don't know whether he's spoken about it. He didn't speak about it last week though, but yeah.
Okay, so I think it's I don't actually know. I think maybe 24th to 23rd to 27th. Anyway, there's a few set days, isn't there, that you're allowed to go and see, family, and there's a whole bunch of rules attached to that and stuff. How do you think that will go?
I don't know. I think that you will see cases rise. But you need to be mindful of anyone in your family that's vulnerable. If you are going to do it, sure, go for it. That's your own choice. But be mindful of other people as well.
Yeah.
And be mindful of yourself, especially.
100%. Yeah, no, definitely. I think I agree with you. I think the cases will rise. But actually, if everyone's looking after themselves a bit and make sure they're washing hands and I think one thing for me is, I'll go see my mum a bit later on because we're able to go see her because she is on her own. So we're kind of like her support bubble, I guess. But, haven't seen her for ages. First thing you're going to want to do is give your mum a hug, But I know that actually she's quite vulnerable. So I don't want to potentially pass that on. And just for that selfishness of having a quick hug, And I think that is something that's really hard and will be hard. And, there are times when it might not work, but actually just, I think you need to think of that bigger picture because, this isn't going to stick around forever. Vaccines are out now, that's great news. And hopefully, by this time next year, we'll be talking about something totally different. We'll probably be talking about, what's the best Christmas meat? I don't know, or not. Depends if you eat meat or not. So yeah, my personal favorite is chicken. Just saying, but so
that's bland. I find that a bit bland at Christmas. You need all the flavour. It's either lamb or beef.
Oh, lamb! Lamb's a good shout. Lamb's a good shout. Yeah, I think. So we did a family vote this Christmas because we're having all the family at ours for the first time, and we were like, oh, it's just going to be a nightmare. So we'll do a vote so that everyone's happy. And the results of the meat were beef and duck. So we're having beef and duck. No idea how to cook duck.
My family do it opposite to Easter. We normally have lamb at Christmas instead of Easter. And then beef for Easter rather than Christmas, just to sort of mix it up a bit and confuse everybody.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah, no, I think the good thing about the Christmas tradition is that you can make whatever tradition you want.
Yeah,
it's a family tradition, isn't it?
What is your family tradition, though?
What's mine? So it depends. So before I met my wife and it was just me and my mum, we would always what would we do? We'd wake up. My mum's religious, and so am I. So we'd go to church. Then we'd come home and open all the presents. And then around 6 o'clock, we would normally eat. And I remember the first time I went to my wife's family for Christmas, because that's what we tend to do now. They were eating at like 2 o'clock, and I was like, "What is this madness? Why are you eating at 2 o'clock? I'm not hungry. This is crazy." So.
Mine is that, and we used to always do it for as long as I can remember, is that we'd get up, we'd have our breakfast, but we wouldn't open our presents, our main presents. We'd open our stockings, but not our main presents, and then we'd wait until after we had dinner, wait a little bit after, so that we weren't going to throw up out of the excitement. And so it'd be around about 3:30, 4 o'clock we'd open our presents.
Wow.
under the tree. We were very patient kids.
How did you manage that? I'd
We
like.
still do it. We're going to do it this year as well.
Oh my gosh! Every year I would like try and get out going to church because I was like, no, I want to open presents. Why are we doing this? Like, but guys at home, let us know in the comments what your Christmas tradition is, because we would love to know it. Maybe you don't celebrate Christmas. Maybe you do something else over Christmas or that time that Christmas normally is. So let us know what you do then. Going on from that, I had a look to see what the best Christmas films are, because as soon as Halloween's over, all of a sudden everything turns Christmassy, doesn't it? So I'm going to read you what I found from a website and what it says the best Christmas films are. Okay, so at number 10, it's Gremlins. Number 9, it's Home Alone 2. Number 8, it's Carol. Never heard of that. Number 7, Happiest Season. Number 6, my personal favourite, The Muppets. Number 5 is Love Actually, which I quite like as well. Number 4, The Snowman. Number 3 is Elf. Number 2 is Home Alone 1. And number 1 is It's a Wonderful Life. I was quite shocked by that. It's a Wonderful Life. I've never seen that. Have you?
Nope.
No.
My favourite film is Santa Claus.
Oh, is that the one where he falls off a roof and has to become Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good film. I do like that. Now, I've got something controversial to throw in there, because I know it's a big debate this time of year. Die Hard. Is that a Christmas film or not?
I've never watched Die Hard.
Okay, well, your homework is to watch Die Hard. I must say, I think it is a Christmas film. It's not really, because it's just set at Christmas, but I remember watching it every Christmas, and it's just fantastic, and I love it. So
again, that comes into traditions.
True,
and
definitely.
I think something that's set over Christmas is kind of classed as a Christmas film, song, or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's great examples of that. None of which I can think now. Well, Die Hard, I guess, but yeah, 100%.
There's a Christmas song, and I can't remember what it's called. It's set in war, but it's set over Christmas, and the singer didn't mean for it to be a Christmas song, but just because it was set over Christmas, it's played on the radio and it's played on TV as a Christmas song.
Yeah. Oh, wicked! It's funny how that determines what is Christmassy or not.
Yeah.
So, another Christmas-related question, guys. Comment at home if you want to answer. Christmas tree, real or fake?
Real.
I'm sorry. I agree. I agree.
There's only one Christmas where we haven't had a real Christmas tree.
Right.
And it just wasn't the same. You didn't have this. When you walk in the door after being outside, you can just smell Christmas tree, and it's amazing.
Yes, I do like Christmas tree.
My mum's allergic to them.
Oh no!
But she still buys them every year.
Oh, I love it. She's like, nah, tradition must carry on. See, when we got a Christmas tree last year, I was really worried, because it was the first year we had our dog, and I was like, oh gosh, what is this dog going to do to it? She wasn't bothered. She was like, oh yeah, just a tree in the house, that's normal, and just plodded along.
My dog is afraid of the tree.
Okay.
Doesn't like it. There's baubles at the bottom, and he'll catch it with his tail, and he'll like run to the other end of the room, and he just doesn't like it.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. So your favorite Christmas film is Santa Claus? Yes. Mine's a toss up, I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be between the Muppets and, I mean, Home Alone's pretty good as well. I do like Home Alone. But guys at home, tell us what your favorite Christmas movie is. Or maybe it's even a movie that you just watch at Christmas and it's not Christmassy at all, kind of like Die Hard, but who knows. Okay, so to finish off with, we are going to talk about what is coming up next week. So, Kat, I may need your help with that, because for those of you that don't know, I've been locked up for a week and a half, so I don't know what's going on. So Monday. Let's start with Monday. That's a good place to start. So Monday, what we've got going on is we have got the Blackthorn groups. So if you want to know what's going on there, contact our lovely youth workers, Sam and Rachel, and they will let you know what's going on, where to go, etc., etc. Also, I was privileged to be a part of this last week, and I'm not going to lie, Kat, it was one of the most fun things I've ever done. James does online gaming sessions, and he was playing Among Us. Have you played Among Us yet?
No, but he told me to start playing it so I could be a part of it. I've never played it. It's been talked about everywhere, especially amongst young people as well. So I'm kind of interested kind of tempted to actually start playing it to see what all the rave's about.
So it's actually, apparently it's quite old. It's like a year old, but I only downloaded it like 2 weeks ago. But it is the most fun you can have on a phone playing a game. I think it just when you get killed, it's just the worst feeling ever. But yeah, so James has set that up with some of our young people, and also he's linked in with a group up in Manchester, I believe, who play. And on the Discord, hearing them in my ear, it was just carnage. Everyone, accusations flying around. It was hilarious. So if you are a gamer or even if you just like Among Us, get in contact with James and he'll hook you up. I will probably be there on Monday as well because I had so much fun that I'm definitely going to come back and play again. And then on Tuesday, what have we got? We have got Semilong Youth Club, which is run by myself. In the new year, Kat, you're going to join us, aren't you, for the Semilong Youth Club?
Yes.
Excellent. That will be good. It will be good to have you. We are not going to be out and about for that one again because I'm self-isolating. So please join us online. We had loads of you last week playing Among Us. I think it's Among Us. It's reeling them in. But also something we're going to do as well as playing Among Us is we have spoken about donating a hamper of some sort somewhere. But we've also looked at, I don't know if you've seen it before, Kat, the Christmas shoebox appeal.
Yes.
And so I think we might potentially be doing something like that. So that will be cool. So if you want to come and join and do something like that, then please do. James, I think, is also doing gaming. I think he's doing a Star Wars game. James, I'm really sorry. I don't know what it's called, but it sounds really cool. So please check it out with him. Wednesday, what goes on Wednesday? We have Lumber Tubs, I believe.
There's online gaming.
Is there online gaming?
Yeah.
I love it.
Radio show.
Oh, there's a radio show.
Radio show between 4 and 5. Online gaming between 4 and 5. There's a McDonald's one as well.
Yes. So, guys, if you have not heard what we're doing, so Free to Talk are going to be in the McDonald's every day between 3:30 to 5:30 on the Drapery. Sorry?
One in town, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, the one in town. So the one in Drapery, not the one in the Grosvenor Centre. So please come. So the whole idea behind that is that it's going to be a safe place for young people to come if they are feeling threatened or they feel like they need to talk to a youth worker and someone safe. We are going to start doing sessions in the downstairs area, which will be blocked off for us. You may have seen us about before. We were outside and just getting to know the area a bit. So yes, that's going to be running throughout the week from 3:30 to 5:30. Be a bunch of different youth workers, so you definitely get to see us all out there
on Wednesday as well as Thursday and Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
and Monday and Tuesday.
And Monday. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So yeah, we're always there. Basically, we're gonna probably get fat by the end of this because we're just gonna eat loads of burgers. So
don't tell them the secret.
So what day are we up to? Thursday we have Bellinge Youngers. So that is 8 to 11. So Serena does that with Ian, and you know, I've been there a few times as well, and it's great fun. You know,
I'm
Serena.
also joining that one after Christmas as well.
Oh, wicked. Exciting. Do you know what? It's awesome. Serena does a brilliant job of making literally anything fun. So honestly, you know, if you're a younger 8 to 11s, or you have a brother and sister of that age, send them along there, because Serena would love to see them. And then we will also be having detached, so that is for 12 plus. Something I wanted to talk about briefly is that in the new year, we're going to try and set up the Bellinge 12 plus session again. It's going to run a bit different to how it did. We're not going inside anywhere just yet, because we can't. But we are going to be doing some sporty events at the cage area. So myself,
I'm joining also on that. So
sorry, say that again.
I'm also joining on that. So
awesome. So basically, that's going to be everywhere.
I'll have to try and get fitter.
That's okay, because do you know what, the thing is, I actually emailed about that today, that we will hopefully have something else going on for those of you who are not that into the sporty side of things, which is fine. So yeah, that's going to be happening that's going to be happening from January, but come along and say hi to Serena, and I think Leanne will be out just saying hi to people from 5:30 till about 6:37 on Thursday. And then finally on, I hope I haven't missed anything out, but on Friday, what's going to happen is it'll be Free2talk TV, and it will not be me. It will be, I assume, you, Kat, and James.
Definitely be James. Not too sure about me. It depends on what happens with my other work.
Fair enough. Okay, so it'll definitely be James. He'll have a lovely helper with him, whoever that may be. And then I'm sure he'll be able to give you a lot more information about stuff going on in the world. Sorry, guys, that it wasn't very informative, but I'm not going to lie. I want to make sure I get all the facts right. So James is the best person for that. But guys, you know, next week is the last week of sessions, and then it's Christmas. So hopefully I will see you again in the new year. And you know, until then, guys, for me personally, I hope you guys all have a good Christmas and come to the sessions next week. And then we'll see you in the new year. Is there anything else that we should talk about, Kat, or shall we end it there?
I don't think so.
Cool.
Sessions start back the week commencing the 4th of January, just in case.
4th of January. Awesome. Good. I'm glad you're organised, Kat. So 4th of January, everything open. Well, not opens, but we'll be back out doing the sessions as they have been, and there'll be a few changes to, like Bellinge, for example. So, guys, I hope you all have a lovely weekend and stay safe. Thank you for joining me, Kat, and helping me out.
You're welcome.
Right, and everyone have a lovely weekend. Bye.
Bye.